A very good evening, everybody. This is Gulf Harbour Radio, ZMH 286. Patricia and David on this winter solstice night. We've just watched the sun disappear. It's been a very short day, 1 second shorter than yesterday. 7:33 the sun came up this morning. 5:11 p.m. it set at 299 degrees. So from the northwest, quite a big difference for us looking out our windows. So we had a day of 9 hours 37 minutes and 53 seconds. Who's counting? And that is 5 hours 3 minutes shorter than the summer solstice, which we will have, thankfully, on the 21st of December. Well, quite a few boats left today, but the excitement for us here on Gulf Harbour Radio was, of course, all the boats that arrived at their destination. Ostrika, Patrick and Sarah, they arrived, thankfully for them, I bet they're sleeping now, in Fiji after an amazing trip, a skillful trip, and a great display of seamanship from them, dealing with no autopilot and no steering cable. Kolfi arrived back in Marsden Cove today. Pogean and Mintaka US, as well as Ohana, are in South Minerva, and I can give you what the weather was like 1 hour ago. 22 degrees from the northeast up there, 24.5 Celsius, which is 75 F, in the water and in the air. Boy, it's a bit different from here. And a 3 metre estimated swell outside. So I bet they were all very happy to be in South Minerva. What about here? We've got
their wind there.
Their wind was 22 knots from the northeast. Okay, our temperature at the moment is 16 degrees, but I bet it's going to get a lot colder overnight. The wind is absolutely nothing, actually. The boats are pointing to the south, and we are under the influence of the low to the northeast and a high coming in. So it will be southerly quadrant winds, 1020 on the bar, sort of 40 to 50% cloud cover, just sort of odd scattered all over the place, although the band of it is in the west. But quite a few boats are making good advantage of the southerly winds to leave today from, I'm just going to tell you who they are, about a dozen left from Bay of Islands. They're being led up north at about, 34 degrees already. Wairima, New Zealand, Scout and Yama 1 and Go Baby Go from the US, Wanderer 2, New Zealand, Warrior from the US, and Water Dogs from Canada. Steal Away, a US boat, he's heading northwest. Coral Moon, Great Britain, Nomad 18, I should know who that is, can't remember. Mila, a Swiss boat, and Corrigan from Canada. So pretty much a North American group there. So it looks like they'll have a pretty good run, and they certainly have made their break as soon as the winds went to the south with that high that's coming in. So I will give a call, but I don't imagine there is anybody out there. David will give an update shortly because he will not be on tomorrow. It is, of course, his day watching motorsport, and as Shane Van Gisbergen won NASCAR last week, we will have it on the television tomorrow afternoon. But the big news, of course, is that the rugby final is on tonight. We can't watch it live, but if you're in Tonga, Samoa and Fiji, Digicel has it live, which will be a very good game between the Chiefs and the Crusaders. The other bit of news is that Peter Burling, if anyone follows the America's Cup, you will know, of course, that he departed from New Zealand. He's been with them for the last 3 challenges, but he has departed, and he has now announced today he is going to Prada. So that was a little bit of interesting news. It's very Yeah, cutthroat to the old America's Cup business. Anyway, just give a quick call. I'll see if there's anyone at Minerva that can give North Minerva, but I suspect it's pretty much like South Minerva. Is anybody out there? This is Gulf Harbour Radio. No, nothing heard. I'm going to pass the microphone and just repeat that if you want any weather, David will be not on tomorrow.
Well, okay. Hello to all of our listeners out there. And as Trish has said, a beautiful day at Gulf Harbor today and tomorrow as well. Cold though, very cold in the morning. So let's look at our synoptic picture for today. Up in the tropics, an active trough runs from the Solomons all the way over to Rotuma and then on to Tokelau and then finally the northern Cook. So quite active up in the actual high tropics. Now closer to home, the depression that we've been talking about for the last few days is centered near 27 south, 27 south, and 173 east, 173 east. Actually make that 175. Make that 175, I think. It's well wound up. One frontal band runs up to Vanuatu, and a second band runs to just to the south of New Caledonia. And I don't think we have anybody that's traveling up to that area. Of course, we have people in Vanuatu. And the depression is bracketed by the two highs, as we've been talking about. One at 30 south and 162 west. Central pressure, we'll call it 1030 millibar, 1030. The second one in the Tasman at 38 south and 158 east is sitting there at about the same pressure, about 1030 millibar. Now by Sunday, the depression moves quickly southeast, so that's tomorrow, and it moves to about 38 south and 175 west. So it really scoots if you're paying attention to what's happening there. This puts it east of East Cape, give you an idea where it is, east of East Cape, with the cold front running more or less to the north. And I'll give you two coordinates that, if you want, you can draw a line from the center of the low through these coordinates. So the first is 30 south and 176 west. And the last one is 20 south and 178 east. This is the axis of the frontal band. Now the front should pass over Minerva tomorrow morning, Sunday, around 7 o'clock in the morning. Now that's the axis. Prefrontal cloud is overhead now as we speak, and you can see it very clearly on satellite imagery. Now the band will continue to approach Fiji by early Monday. And by the way, Fiji Met calls for a strong wind warning for all Fiji waters, easterly winds 20 to 25 knots, which brings lovely rough seas right through Monday. So those of you that are wanting to depart after this frontal band or behind the frontal band, we'll have some pretty fresh winds to deal with. So that pretty much covers it from me. Anybody who has any questions, come down, and I'll pass it to the chief in the meantime.
Good evening to you, Andy Soy Libre. And interesting, I had the Kayo antenna turned down, but you are coming in on my own antenna. So conditions are different tonight. Good evening to you and Taku there in South Minerva. In North Minerva. Got South Minerva on the brain. Go ahead, Andy. Yeah, good copy, and I'm not even going to turn my usual antenna on because you're booming into the house one, which is a vertical So, yeah, good copy. Go ahead.
Okay, I have Bill and Steve, and that's who's working on a happy hour and doing Steve together. The current weather is 20 knots out of the northeast and 21 degrees Celsius and 101.8 on the bar and 100% cloud cover over.
Well, good afternoon to Andy, of course, Phil and Sabrina, and I've forgotten your other half, Sabrina. Yeah, well, you're having making the most of 20 knots of northeast wind at North Minerva, same as South Minerva, 21 degrees, which is rather nice, 1018 on the bar, and 100% cloud cover. Well, there you go. So you didn't get the visitors today. They're snuggled up in South Minerva waiting for the southerlies, which you'll see them early next week for those that are still there. So, yeah, well, have one for us whilst you're all sitting around discussing life in general.
That happens tomorrow.
And what was that?
The southerlies.
The southerlies will be tomorrow, but I don't think they'll be wanting to be out there in the southerly front.
No.
So, yeah, back to you, Andy. Over.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for the weather report. And we're looking forward to actually coming tomorrow morning.
Yep, good sleep in tomorrow morning and a wash down. All right, well, good evening to you guys there. Is there anybody else for Gulf Harbour Radio? No, nothing heard. So it will be even quieter tomorrow without David here. So unless anyone else is up and about, it looks like the departure season, because I don't know any of these boats that are on their way at the moment. So they're all new to me. A couple of them, or quite a few of them, look as if they're heading to Vanuatu, which will be interesting. The only boat I see that I know in Vanuatu at the moment at is it Melee? Melee is Ocean Fever, but there is a group of boats that might be heading in that direction. Offspring looks as if they might be, and Passport might be as well. Okay, cheers everybody. We'll leave you to it and have a very good evening. Looks like we'll have a dry day tomorrow, but we may think of you getting the wash down. Cheers all. Gulf Harbour Radio clear, and if anyone wants the frequency, it's all yours.